Alright guys, alright, welcome back to the doghouse. We are doing a video in response to a couple viewers who sent me a message, and they are running copper line under their RV and they don't know a lot about it. So we're going to cover the basics. Got a flaring kit. We're going to flare copper line. This is just 3/8 standard RV line. It's a little bit different than automotive line. This one here has a single flare. This one here is a double flare. We're going to do double flares on everything. It's just stronger. It's the industry standard. It's been that way on automotive brake lines for a reason for years. And since your RV bounces around a lot, why not take the extra precaution and just double flare it? If you single flare it, you thin out this material. And this, of course, becomes your weak spot where it's going to crack. We'll go over later in the video installation underneath the camper, clamping it, powering it up with some gas, and spraying it down and checking it off for leaks. We'll have a couple of T-fittings included and everything. So let's go over that. Again, that's a double flare. This is a single flare. We're not going to do a single flare on this kit. We're going to do a double flare. 3/8. Standard kit, Harbor Freight, 20 bucks. I've used this kit ever since I was a lowercase d back 20 years ago. I think I bought that thing. Every once in a while some parts will break, like a T-handle, just go get another kit. As you can see, you can do automotive flares with it. Probably not a bad idea to go ahead and get you a brake line bender of some kind. This does several sizes. Because I do automotive customizing too, I use it quite a bit. I even have a bigger one that goes up to, I think, 5/8 line. Yeah, it's pretty neat tool to have. This here is your standard taper for your 45-degree line, double flare. This here is actually what's called a bubble flare. Newer vehicles, some newer camper fittings even, have a bubble flare instead of the taper flare finish. And basically, when you do a taper flare such as this and it's doubled over, your first step will have your flare fitting on there, and it'll go in there similar to this. The line, of course, coming in here. You will crimp it down, smash basically the line into the degree of this, the taper of that tool there that holds the line in place. Then you will take this off and you will deadhead this into your flare this way. And that flare combined with this flare will give you that guy right there. Basically, this piece folds the line in over itself to create a double flare. In a bubble flare situation on the newer campers and new vehicles, you'll run this tool in, and basically your taper right there and this here become your fitting. You don't do the second step with this to create your V. You'll see it here in a minute. Got your pipe cutter, of course. They make these in different sizes. And another set of pliers that you can bend the line with and stuff. This copper tubing pretty much bends by hand, so you really don't need tools, but if you want to make it look pretty and do some nice tight radiuses, it's probably better to have a tool like this, just to get a nice tight fitting without kinking the line. First step, guys, these little tools come with this neat little lip on them. And what that lip is, it's a gauge basically to set your depth for how big your flare is going to be. If you flip the tool backwards and you feed your line into your holder, you slide this on there like so, it gives you the depth of your shoulder that you'll need. Tighten your line up. This here is a 3/8. See how it fits in there? Twist these babies tight. They have little knurls in there that'll hold your copper line in place so it does not slip back out. Put that guy in. Last time I used this, I never backed it out, so kind of like rewinding the cassette tape after you rent it. Should always do it. That's a joke. Maybe it's tight fit. Crank it down. Doesn't take a lot of effort. Like I said, that copper line's really soft. If you don't have a vise, you could probably hold this baby in your hand. Make sure your tool sits flush against your holder. Tool out. Sometimes they hang up. Give it a tap. Twist a little bit. And she'll come out. Now, we've got the line actually folded over into itself right there. That's step one. Step two, we don't use this piece anymore. Put it back in our trusty little case. Put your tool with your taper fit in there. One thing I can't stress enough, if this line you're working on is connected on something on the other end or flared at the other end already, make sure you put your fitting on. You can't get this on once you flare both ends or once it's connected. And I'd be lying if I said I haven't had to redo a few hundred. Nobody's perfect. Not even the dog. House. There you go. You just run it in. They do make hydraulic ones of these too. I've just had this one for years. Like I said, I had an automotive shop. Started in the 80s. Did repairs. Quit working on automotives in the 2015 or so, and just started doing camper stuff and hot rod stuff on my own. You can see there's your flare, double flare. Single flare. Boo. Yay! There it is with the fitting on it. Sometimes that tool will mar that edge up a little bit and make your fitting hard to go on. You need to take some Scotch-Brite and wipe that down a few times to sand it smooth. And I'll spray these off with soap and water. Turn the propane on. See if we got any leaks. Hopefully not. We ran from the tank back to a T, split off, goes up inside to the grill there, comes over, Splits off, goes back to the rear quick connect for an outside grill, and also comes over and goes up to the refrigerator, three-way refrigerator. Pretty simple, just use copper line. Not bad. Alright guys, went over everything, sprayed everything with some real soapy water, some Dawn and some water mix. Double checking all my connections. I'm gonna put another clamp there to hold that line in place. No bubbles so far. Propane's on, of course. I already checked inside at the refrigerator and the stove just to make sure there first, so we didn't fill the cockpit up with propane and go boom. There's the quick shut off for the exterior grill in the back. We look good. On to the next step, water.